Good morning, Year 4. Welcome to your maths lesson for Monday, the 18th of January. Today we are going to be dividing two-digit numbers. So we had a go at this a bit last week. I'm going to move on a little bit today to some numbers with exchanging and things like that. So I'll share my screen and get us started. Okie doke. So this is your warm-up, obviously. So if you'd like to pause the video here and have a go at these. You did these, I think it was last week or the week before. So remember, when we're doing multiplying three numbers together, you multiply two numbers and then multiply the third number. So in the example of the first one up here, we would do 2 times 3 is 6, and then times 6 by 2. Which would give us 12. So if you can work through those for me, pause the video, work through, and then we'll come back together and share the answers in a minute. Okay, so let's have a look at the answers. I'm not going to go through all of these today because I don't want to make the lesson too long for you. But if we just have a look at the second one here, so we can make sure we know what we're doing. I've already talked about the first one. So here we would have done 4 times 5, which was 20, and then 20 times 3, which was 60. Or we could have done, if we wanted to, 5 times 3, which was 15, and then times that by 4, which would still be 60, because when we're multiplying, we can multiply in any order, it doesn't matter. So you multiply whichever two numbers you want to together first. Just make sure you do them all and don't miss them out. Okay, so let's move on to the main part of our lesson then today, which is dividing two-digit numbers. So we're going to start off with a little recap of last week. Just move this for you so you can see it. So we did two different ways of dividing, last week. So the first way was using our bar model, and we would get our counters, our tens counters and our ones counters, and we would share them out into however many, whatever the divisible number was. So 72 divided by 4. So we're sharing it into 4 equal groups. So we put our 72 up here, and we share out our 4 into our 4 columns here. And then when we get down here, we realise that we can't share these ones out. So we would need to exchange our tens for the ones and share all of those out individually as well. I'm not going to do that method now because it takes a really long time. But we would cross that 10 out, put 10 ones in, share all of those out, and then cross that one out and share all of those out, and cross that one out and put 10 in and share all of those out. So it's quite a long-winded way of doing it, but it is a very effective way of doing it. We just need to make sure that we count up how many are in each box and make sure we've got an equal number and everything else. Then down here, this is the sort of bus stop method that we've talked about, which in this case is probably a little bit easier than all the exchanging and swapping. So here we say how many 4s go into 7. Okay, so how many groups of 4 can we make out of 7? Well, we can make one group, and that will be, so we've used 4 of them, 4 of the 7, and then we would have 3 left over. So that 3, let's put it in here. Excuse me a minute. Okay. Goes there next to the 2. So what we've done is we've said, right, how many groups of 4 can we make out of 7? We can make one group. So we've made one group of 4, and then we've got another 3 that are kind of left over that haven't made another group of 4. So that 3, we talked about this last week, you can't just ignore that and chuck it away. So we have to put that 3 next to the 2 here, because it's 3 tens, put it next to the 2 and make that into 32. And then I'm going to need my times tables for this one. So I need to know how many groups of 4 go into 32. And this is where I said it's really important that you learn your times tables, and it can make these kind of sums much easier. Because I know that 4 times 8 is 32. So I can just pop an 8 in there, and I've done my sum. And there aren't any leftovers. 4 times 8 is exactly 32. So there aren't any leftover ones there that I need to do anything else with. So I can then say that 72 divided by 4 is 18. So I can put my answer in up here. And if I work it out the other way, sharing all of these out, I will come to the same conclusion. Obviously, if you don't know your 4 times table here, you could just write out your 4 times table, couldn't you, until you got up to 32. Okay, let's move on to the next one. 66 divided by 5. So once again, I've got my 6 tens here and my 6 ones here. And I could just do, and I've got 5 boxes along the bottom of my bar model because I'm dividing by 5. So I can start sharing these out. Fine, and then I get to my 10. Oh dear, I can't put the 10 in any of those boxes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap this 10 for 10 ones. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. So I swapped it for 10 ones. Okay, so I've got rid of this one and I've exchanged it for 10 ones so that I can share them out, and then I'm going to share these out. So here I go. Like I said, lots of times this takes a little bit of a long time. It's a bit quicker for you if you're drawing them rather than having to move them around on a whiteboard. Just need to make sure you draw them in the right place. And I've just done that thing again that I always do, and I put 2 in that box already, and I need to put the same number in each box, one at a time, so that I don't end up making any mistakes. Okay, so when I've shared them out, and I'm pretty sure that there are the same amount in each box, and I can check, look, there's 10 here, and 1 10 and 3 ones, which makes 13. So it's 10, 11, 12, 13, and there's the same. There's 13 in that one, 13 in there, 13 in there, and 13 in there, which is fine. I could go up here and I could merrily write my answer and say, oh yes, okay, the answer is 13. Lovely. But the eagle-eyed among you may have spotted that there is a 1 that's just left in here. There's 1 left over, and there's nothing I can do with that 1. I can't just squeeze it into another box because all of the boxes have to have the same number in them. They have to be 5 equal groups. That's really important. So that 1 is just left over. And there comes a time in math where you just say, okay, I've got a leftover. And to show that you've got a leftover, this is going to be a bit tricky to show you on here without being able to write properly. You do a little r up the top. Okay, and then you just write how many remainders you got. So I'm saying R1, that means remainder 1. So what I've got here is the answer to my question. 66 divided by 5 equals what? 13 remainder 1. Okay, so I'm saying there's 13 in each group and 1 left over. Okay, so let's have a look at how that works with the bus stop method here. So 5 into 6. How many groups of 5 can I make out of 6? Well, I can make 1 group, but I'm going to have 1 left over, aren't I? Because I only used 5 of those 6 and I've got 1 left over. And like I've said lots of times, I can't just ignore that one. So my leftover one, wait a second whilst I manipulate the whiteboard, my second one is going to go, my spare one, my extra, my remainder is going to go there. Okay, so my extra one is going in front of my 6 to make that 16. Okay, then I need to say how many 5s go into 16. Okay, so I can count in 5s, 5, 10, 15. So I know that there are 3 groups of 5 in 15. But again, I'm not finished, am I? Because I've only got up to 15. I've only used 15 of these in my 3 groups of 5, and I've got 1 left over to make it up to 16. So it'd be a little r, and then, oops, ideally, and then 1 left over. Okay, so it's exactly the same because it's the same as the one up here. I've got 13, and that remainder 1 usually comes off the end like that. The little r is usually floating a little bit in the air. Okay, so the answer to that question is of 66 divided by 5 is 13, remainder 1, and you can see I've got the same answer up here, which is a good sign. It means that hopefully I've done it properly. Okay, so this is the answer to this question. What happens when a number doesn't divide exactly? Well, then we have remainders. Okay, they're called remainders. Right, so let's have a little look at this one as well, and then I'm going to get you to go off and do these by yourself for a minute. So we're going to try the first one together. We have to use our greater than, less than, or equal symbols to show in these to show which is the larger answer. Okay, so we've got 48 divided by 4, and then we've got 36 divided by 3. So you need to use whichever method you are more comfortable with, either drawing a bar model and then writing in the number at the top. So here I've done 48, 4 tens and 8 ones, and then share them out. Or you can do it as a bus stop method. So let's have a little look at that one together. So I'm going to share my 48 out here. Got enough tens to fit in. Don't need to do any exchanging here because there are 4 tens and 4 boxes, so I've shared those out. So that's a relief. A bit quicker. And then 1 each in there, and then 1 each. Again, I reckon I've got enough to put another one in. So there we go. And how many I've got on each box? I haven't got any remainders. Look, there's no leftovers. There's no extra ones in the top, so there's no remainders on this one. How many I've got in each box? 10, 11, 12, and can see quite clearly because I put them, remember I talked about putting them in the same position in each box, so you can see that you've got the same number in each box. So I've got 12 in each box of those. Okay, now if I was doing this as a bus stop method, I put my amount to be divided in there underneath the bus stop, and I put my 4 outside because I'm dividing by 4. Now this one is a nice straightforward one to do. So I can say, right, okay, how many groups of 4 can I make out of 4? So I had 4 children. How many groups of 4 can I make? I can make 1 group of 4 children. If I had 8 children, I could make 2 groups of 4, because I can make 2 lots of 4, 2 groups of 4 out of 8. And so my answer is 12. There's no leftovers, there's no exchanging or anything like that. So that was a nice straightforward, easy one to do like that. So the answer to this one is 12. And what I would do is I would then just pop 12 up there. And then I need to work out the answer to 36 divided by 3. And then I need to see which is bigger. So for that one, I'm just going to do that one as a bus stop method. Will I? No, I won't. I'll do them both ways because I know some of you are doing them this way too. So we'll have 36. Put 36 up in our little box up here. So 3 tens and 6 ones, and then I'm just going to dump these over here so I don't get confused. And then I hope you've spotted I've got 4 squares here, and I don't want 4 squares because I'm divided by 3 this time. Okay, so it's a bit of a faff on here. There we go. Right, so I've got my 36 in the top, and then I've got my 6, so 36, and then I've got my 3 squares to share them into. So here we go. 10 in there, 10 in there, 10 in there, and I've got 1 in there, 1 in there, 1 in there, and 1 in there, and 1 in there, oops, and 1 in there. And now I can count and I can see how many are in each one, and there are 12 in each one. So if I wanted to do this one as a bus stop method, again, it's quite an easy one, quite a nice straightforward one. So I have a look at this sum and I say, how many 3s can I make out of a group of 3? I can make 1 group of 3. 1 times 3 is 3. And then how many groups of 3 can I make out of 6? So how many 3s make 6? So if I do my 3 times table, that would be 3, 6. So that's times 2. 3 times 2 is 6, isn't it? So 2 goes in there, and I've got the answer 12 again. Now I've got the answer 12, and I had the answer 12 for the other side as well. So what I would need to put into this little circle would be an equals symbol because they are equal to each other. The answers are the same, they are equal to each other. So you just need to pause the video now and then you can have a go at the others. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go at the others now. So we'll just go through some of the answers. I'm not going to go through them all in the with the different division methods because it'll take a really long time, and I've got some more for you to have a go at. So we've got 52 divided by 4, and the answer to that I hope that you got was 13. And then we've got 42 divided by 3, and the answer to that is 14. I hope I'm doing them very quickly in my head. So here, this one is the bigger one. So we would need to draw the, there we go, our greater than, less than symbol with the sort of crocodile mouth facing into the 42 divided by 3, because that one is bigger, obviously. So then down here, we've got, I can't even see what the sum was now, 60 divided by 3. So the answer to that is 20. Okay, and then 60 divided by 4, the answer to that is 15. Now you might have known, looking at that bottom one, because it's the same number at the start, it's 60 in both cases, and here we're only sharing out between 3 people, and here we're sharing out between 4. So if you think about it, if this was people and sweets, for example, if we had 60 sweets to share out between 3 people, then then obviously they're going to get more than if we did 60 sweets shared between 4 people, because obviously there are more people there, aren't there? So they're going to get less sweets. So this one is the bigger one. So our crocodile mouth goes facing that way, greater than, less than symbol. Okay, so that's the answers hopefully that you've got, and hopefully you did those using one of the methods that I've shown you here, the division methods, either the bar model, partition one, or the bus stop method. Okay, let's have a little think about this one then. So Dora is calculating 72 divided by 3. Before she starts, she says the calculation will involve an exchange. Do you agree? Explain why. So I just want you to pause the video for a moment. I want you to have a look at that. How do you think, why do you think Dora says that she knows before she starts that this calculation is going to involve an exchange? Okay, so pause now and have a little think. Okay, so the answer to this you might have spotted is that because the tens number here isn't a multiple of 3, she knows that it's not a multiple of 3, it's not in the 3 times table, 7 isn't. So she knows that she's going to have some leftovers when she does that as a, if she does it with the bus stop method, or if she's sharing them out, she knows that there's going to be some leftovers from sharing that 7 out. And that will mean that she has to do an exchange, won't it? So if she did the sum, excuse me, as a bus stop, a very bumpy bus writing, there we go. Right, so she said how many groups of 3 are there in 7? She knows that there are 2 groups of 3 in 7, and she knows she's going to have a leftover, so she's going to have to turn that one into 12, isn't she? And then 3, how many 3s can you get into 12? How many groups of 3 can you make out of 12? The answer is 4. So the answer is 24, but it doesn't matter. I didn't actually ask you to work out the answer. I just thought I'd show you just in case. So the answer to the question was that the tens number isn't a multiple of 3, so we will need to exchange. Okay, because the question was, how does she know that she's going to have to do an exchange? Okay, so that's just a little clip. Well done if you got that, because it's quite tricky. Okay, have a look at this one then. You have to, in a minute, pause the film, the video, and work out which one of these calculations is the odd one out, which one of these in the square up here. I've written them as bus stop methods down here, because you might have to actually work out what the answers are before you can work out which is the odd one out, or you might be very clever and be able to predict which is the odd one out just without even working out the answer. And this here is a little bit of a clue. How can we predict if a division calculation will have a remainder? Okay, it's quite tricky, but pause it and see if you can work out which one of those is the odd one out. And while you're thinking that, think about how we can predict if a division calculation will have a remainder. So pause now. Okay, so the answer to the question, which calculation is the odd one out? The answer is that it is, whoops, suspense is killing you, I know. The answer is this one is the odd one out. And the reason that that one is the odd one out is that that one is the only one that doesn't have a remainder. All of the others will have a remainder when you work out the answers. Okay, now if we have a look down here, how can we predict if a division calculation will have a remainder or not? Well, when we look at these, the reason how I managed to work out without doing the sums, how I managed to work out which one was the odd one out was I looked at this one and I thought to myself, well, first of all, I looked at that one and I thought, well, that one, I know that 64 is divisible by 8. I know that there won't be any remainders because I know that 64 is in the 8 times table. So I thought, right, that hasn't got any remainders. Great, okay. I was thinking about remainders because this question had been asked down here. Then I looked at this one, 77 divided by 4, and I thought that one's definitely is going to have remainders because it is divided by 4 and it's an odd number. And I know that in the 4 times table, there aren't any answers with odd numbers. So I know that there must be some leftovers from this one. So I know there's going to be a remainder in this sum. I don't know what it is because I haven't worked it out, but I do know that there's going to be one. Then similarly down here, 49 divided by 6. In the 6 times table, all of the answers are even 2, and I know that. And I can see here that there is an odd number here. So I know that this is going to end up being, it can't be, there's going to be leftovers, okay, whatever that is, because there's going to be a 9 on the end of that number. Whether it's a 9 or whether it's got another number in front of it, that's not going to share equally into an even number. So that one also is going to have some remainders. And then the last one was a bit trickier because I looked at it and I thought, do you know what, if that was a bus stop method, which it is here, look down here, I was imagining this is what I was picturing in my head, and I thought, well, I know that 3 is divisible by, sorry, 6 is divisible by 3. I know that I can share 6 out between 3 groups, and that's fine, I can do that. But I also know that I can't share 5 by 3. So I know there's going to be some leftovers there as well. So I can see that all 3 of those are all going to have remainders, and I know that that one didn't. Now, I don't know if you had to work out the answers to get that sum or not. It doesn't really matter either way. But I'm just going to show you 2 of these as an example. So how to work them out, just so we keep going over how we do the bus stop method, because I know some of you are going to want to try and do that in your silver and gold tasks at the end here today. So 8. How many groups of 8 can I make out of 6? Well, I can't make any because there's not enough, is there? There's only 6, so I can't make any groups of 8 out of 6. So again, I can't just ignore that 6. I'm going to pop that 6 down there and turn that into 64. So again, I need to know my multiplication tables, don't I, to work this out. So how many groups of 8 can I make out of 64? And I know that 8 times 8 is 64. That lovely little rhyme we know about being sick on the floor helps me with that one. So 8 times 8 is 64. So the answer to that is 8. Now it's 0, 8, but you don't have to bother putting that 0 in. The answer is just 8, isn't it? Because that 0 is not a placeholder there, is it? It's not stopping anything moving around. And then if we have a little look at this one, how many 4s can I make out of 7? Well, I can only make 1 group of 4 out of 7. And then I'm going to have 3 left. Oh, she says. 3 left there. So I have to put that 3 there to make 37. Okay, so I've got my 1 group of 4 and then 3 more. So that 4, that 1 group of, that's 4 there, 1 group of 4. and then 3 more makes the 7. So then I've got 37 left. How many groups of 4 can I make out of 37? Well, I know that 4 times 9 is 36, but I'm still going to have a leftover, aren't I? And then I'm going to have, I don't know where that one went. It's all frozen up on me. Never mind. Let's see if we can just do something with it. Oh, here it comes. It's waking up again. There we go. So remainder 1, got there in the end. So there's a big pause there, so we'll go back over that. So 4 times 9 was 36. So I can make, out of 37, I can make 9 groups of 4, and that will use up 36 of those, and then I'd have 1 left over. Okay, and if I work out the other 2 like that as well, I'll have remainders on those as well. Okay, right then, moving on. So these are your tasks for today. Use your preferred method for silver to solve these. Okay, so this is you can use your bar models and draw them out, or you can do bus stop method, whichever you want. If you're really confident with using the bus stop method, and if you were using it in the last lesson as well, you can probably start on gold today, and then move on to platinum, hopefully, if you have time. If you've only just started thinking about using bus stop method today, or if you're still using the bar model way to share out and divide, then start on silver. Okay, so, or start where you think is a good place to start. So I'm going to leave this up again. Like always, you can obviously I don't want you to just copy the answers down, so I'm not going to put the answers up on the video, but you can check those with your grown-up if you want to make sure that you've got the right answers. And also you can use your own methods to check them through, can't you? Go over them again, see if you've made any daft mistakes. Okay, so have a go at those. This is just working out the answers. This one is obviously working out the answers and then putting in the greater than, less than, or equals to symbols, just like we did in one of the earlier slides. If you've forgotten that, go back to that bit of the video and have another look at it. Okay, so you can pause it there, and then I'll move on to platinum in a minute. So if you pause and have a go at that. Okay, and you are the people who weren't so keen to turn off your lesson. You thought, I'll just have a little look at what platinum is as well. So here's platinum for today. Eva has 96 sweets. She shares them into equal groups. She has no sweets left over. How many groups could Eva have shared her sweets into? Find all the possibilities. Okay, so there's more than one way that you can do this. She can share them into equal groups, and you just have to have a play around and see what you can do. So you can either use the bus stop method, have a go, see if you can share them into 2 equal groups, 3 equal groups, 4 equal groups, 5 equal groups, like that. She has no sweets left over, so if you do any and they've got remainders, then that's not a possibility. Okay, before you have a go at this, you need to make sure you have had a go at least at the gold activity though. Okay, so good luck with that. See how many possibilities you can get, and let us know on Dojo if you like, and we'll see if we've got the same number of possibilities as you have. And well done for having a little look at the platinum task as well. And so that's the end, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.